Hi everybody, we're Mike and Brenda Baker, and today we are here for the 7th session on 7 emotional issues women deal with in remarriage. And today's title is Dealing with a Bossy Husband. So we have 3 points to go over today, but I think we might cover a little bit more than what we had planned on to begin with.
We'll see.
So number 1, the first tip on this is to set healthy boundaries and then make sure that you stick with them.
Now, what do we mean by healthy boundaries? Once again, one of the biggest problems that we see in marriages in general, not just remarriage, is communication. All right, and we'll go into here in a couple of points why communication tends to fall apart. But for what we're talking about here, communication's huge. A lot of women look at the guy and think, you should know. You should know what the problem is. Okay, he doesn't. So your thinking he should know is irrelevant. The whole point is have you set boundaries with your husband? Does he know where your line is, or are you guessing he knows where your line is?
Right. You know, bossy husbands typically get that way because there's something that you're doing that will trigger him. For instance, say you expected him to do a chore every week or something, but yet you weren't doing what he thought you should do. See, that's where the communication really comes in, is typically a bossy husband actually starts being that way because you're being bossy as well. Not always, but a lot of the times.
Right. So kind of to roll that together into point number 2, because we still have some things to talk about. But so have you set healthy boundaries, and do you stick to them? And the other thing is control the real issue. Are you upset with him because really you want to be in control?
Yeah.
You know, or do you really feel that the issue with him is that he wants to control? Have you guys even really talked about it, or are you just irritated and you're keeping it, held in?
Right. And so it's really important to understand what your personality type is. And there's lots of different personality tests out there. We're not going to go into the one that we personally like to use because it doesn't really fit with this lesson as much. But it is really important for you to understand what personality traits that you have and how you can get them to work the best together.
However, if you would like to know what personality test we'd like to use, just comment below.
Comment below and we'll send you the link. Yeah. But yeah. All right, so here's the biggest one. Number 3, are you lovers or are you partners?
So, most common thing we see in problems in marriage is the lack of sex. And it's because what happens is as soon as there are problems, 9 times out of 10, I'm not picking on you ladies, but 9 times out of 10, the ladies cut the dude off. Okay, and what begins to happen at that point is everything falls apart from there. Think about it like, this is the analogy I use is like a chair. Now you can put a chair together with screws, but you're going to get that chair from Walmart and it's not going to last very long. Okay, or you can put a chair together with screws and glue bought from a professional furniture maker, and that thing will last for years. The point being, the glue makes the difference. Although it's this part you don't see, it's the part that adheres the most. Sex is the glue for marriage. When there's no sex, there's no communication, and everything, you've bought a Walmart chair. And if you go back a couple videos, you'll see us talk about either running your marriage as an amateur event or running it like a pro.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like Mike said, the glue is the sex. And so even if your frequency is a lot less than it had been before you started having problems, that's the first thing that you need to really work hard on. Ladies, I myself have had this issue as I've gotten older. My libido has been lower, and I'm just going to be honest about that. And I'm not really sure why. There's no reason. At my age, I should be excitable all the time. But for some reason, there's been some vitamins and minerals that I have need that are extra that have really helped me. So get some help for yourself. If it's not because you don't like your husband that you don't want to have sex, it's a lack of libido. There are lots of products on the market that work really well, actually really fast. So, but if you're in the 40s, it's probably, hormone changes can cause a lot of issues. And we used to always wonder why couples would be together for 25 or 30 years and then all of a sudden they get divorced. And I really think it has a lot to do with the sex. Because typically, in most relationships, it's the man's libido that is less. And so the woman feels like he doesn't want her anymore. He wants someone else. And that's really seriously not usually the case.
That's a wrong assumption.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, this is actually a big one. We're talking about dealing with a bossy husband. We're not saying that the burden of everything falls on you.
No.
Okay, just remember, these are the 7 emotional issues women deal with. Our next 7 videos are going to be on what men deal with. And trust me, I'm not going to be kind. Okay, so because I really like to hammer it home with men. But the world's job right now is to make sure that you can't operate properly as a married couple. All right? They try to tell you that marriage is outdated. They try to tell you all these things. You don't need a man. Must be why you got married. So the whole point being is sex is a vital, vital part of your relationship. It keeps everything together. It forces intimacy. It forces a level of conversation. It forces you that you can't get away from each other in sex, okay? It forces you to hit at a level that most couples won't hit at. Why do those couples divorce after 30 years? 1, because they centered on the kids and not the relationship. And 2, they stopped having sex 10 years ago.
Yep.
If you're in a sexless marriage, comment, get a hold of us directly, get a counselor. I don't care what you do, get help right now or your marriage is going to be done. There's no such thing as a successful sexless marriage. And I would challenge anybody to show otherwise because it's not possible.
Right. And sex itself is something that we deal with directly in our course, which in the description below, there is a link to the Remarriage Academy. And that is actually our course that we have. We go into great detail on sex and how important it is and things like that. And so if you're interested in that, just link below and that will give you the expanded version of these shorter videos. It's really important, people, and we want to see you be able to thrive in your marriage for as long as you walk this earth. And you can't do that without the key elements in a good relationship.
Sex is give and take, all right? I know there are a lot of women out there that think sex is something they have to do. It's not a necessary part. I would challenge you on that. You're wrong, okay? If you are not getting anything out of the sex portion of your marriage, then you need to have a serious sit down with your husband. You need to tell him, I'm not getting anything out of this, and get help. Because you're missing out. Okay? Your marriage could be so much more than it is now. And yes, because of the sexual portion of the relationship.
Right. And so if his libido is down, maybe it's time to encourage him, go with him to some doctor's appointments or naturopath or something like that. Go into a really good health food store that has somebody very knowledgeable that can help him with that. Mm-hmm. Most men don't want to talk about that stuff, okay? But it's the facts of marriage and life. And so it's really important. And we're just really hoping that you're hearing what we're trying to say here. Yeah, was that all?
Oh, I think we beat that horse.
Yeah, I think we did. All right, well, we really hope that this session has helped you. This whole seven videos has helped you to kind of go through these different things that most women deal with in their remarriage. And so if you have any other questions or have another topic that you'd like us to cover, go ahead and comment below and we will get to those as soon as we can. We do have a couple in the process now, so it might be a little bit before we get to your topic, but that's okay. We will. Thanks so much for being here and for trusting us to have the answers that you need. Our biggest thing is that traditional counseling doesn't work for remarried couples because it's based on principles that, let's be honest, don't necessarily work the same way in the blended family, right?
Didn't work for the first marriage, yeah.
Right. It's outdated principles that don't actually work, but especially for all of the trials and tribulations that the blended family goes through. And so we're thankful that you're here with us. We hope these helped you, and please give us some love down below if you're enjoying these videos. Well, thanks so much for being with us today, and we'll talk to you again soon.